Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and for our second video today we're going to have a look at the latest on the heavy snowfall that we do have in parts of the Midlands at the moment. That will continue through most of this evening before we see some even heavier snow in parts of the Midlands and northern England. Now, of course, we did a video earlier and I said I'd only really update it if we saw a change in the warnings, and we do now have an amber warning issued for snowfall through parts of northern England, mainly over the higher ground. That's where we could see totals amounting 20 to 30 centimetres, but low-lying areas could see as much as 5 to 10 centimetres or more. The issue with low-lying areas is there is potential that during around lunchtime tomorrow, around sort of 11 a.m. to maybe 3 p.m, we do see the precipitation turn back to rain or sleet, which will mean that the snow will start to melt away, so prohibiting those totals. So amber warning over the higher ground, but I do think that risk of high snowfall totals of 10 plus centimetres could be warranted pretty much anywhere through the North Midlands into northern England, simply because the heavy precipitation is there. We're just uncertain exactly how much of it will fall as snow, especially during the daylight hours. So we'll run through the latest from the live radar. We'll go through that amber warning, and we'll have a look at some of the latest models, some of the arpege, the arome, and the icon run to see what they're producing tonight for the rest of this evening and into tomorrow. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in the description. Now today, it's been a pretty wintry day in general. We've seen a lot of falling snow around that M4 line northwards, but not a lot of settling. I have said that quite a lot in the last few videos, that whenever we see snow in March, you need it really to fall overnight or during the morning, because especially around lunchtime and after that, up until sunset, the solar strength is a bit too much to see too much settling snow, and generally we've had milder weather recently, so the ground temperatures are slightly above freezing as well, so you need that heavier precipitation with nighttime hours as well to be getting any really settling snow. So throughout this band of snow we've had throughout today, most of it's just been falling, maybe some temporary accumulations and some heavier bouts, but nothing too major as you'd think by looking at the live radar. Now, of course, I'm recording this video now the sun has set, and within some of this snow here, we will start to see some settling this evening. There is a yellow warning out for perhaps 3 to 5 centimetres, but again, it is very uncertain. Not seeing too many reports of any major snow from this, as you'd expect with this sort of image from the live radar, but it will continue for the next few hours, probably starting to ramp down around midnight. So maybe as we're recording this, 4 or 5 hours more of snow for some of these regions, and you could see a few centimetres built up. But of course, you've got to get over the surface warmth, which is still lingering, as the ground is above freezing, simply because it's been mild the last few weeks. So heavy snow going on at the moment. Again, uncertain how much of this will settle, but it is around freezing in this area. But you look at the M4 line southwards, so sort of London area southwards, it's falling as rain. We've got much milder air building in. So yeah, snow will continue this evening. Rain in the south, and we've got a yellow warning issued in parts of the Midlands throughout tonight. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So I said I'm recording this around 7 p.m, and if we put on those temperatures as of around 7 p.m, that Wiley M4 northwards, it is freezing or below freezing at the moment. You can see just to the south of M4, still some pockets of cold air, but generally starting to turn a little bit milder. Again, it's this area in the Midlands seeing the snow at the moment. You can see many of these areas are low single digits, if not below freezing. So settling snow is in the air, but just the ground temperatures are a bit too mild at the moment. So really need those intensities to overcome that. We'll just have to see over the coming hours. But again, a few centimetres is possible, but I'm not expecting a widespread dumping as you'd assume from having a look at that latest radar. Again, if this fallen in January time with ground temperatures around freezing already, we'd probably be seeing widely 5 to 10 centimetres associated with this band of snow. Not seeing that at the moment, simply, as I said, because of those ground temperatures. But tomorrow, another day of colder air and with higher rates of snowfall. That's why we think there could be some really significant snow through northern England. Now you can see across Scotland, a bit of a drier day today, still showers packing in, but it is freezing cold at the moment, so those temperatures will plummet to -10 to -15 potentially. So it's going to be another very cold night. And unusually, for a cold spell, the main snow risk is across England and Wales. Yes, we've seen some heavy snow in the north and the east, traditional snow showers, convection. But the main frontal risk is in the south, or southern areas of the United Kingdom at the moment, through northern England and the Midlands. So do just now look at the weather warnings. We've got a yellow and snow warning. We have a look at that in detail again for convection. Got a yellow and snow and ice warning that it issued from 5 p.m. tonight until 7 a.m. tomorrow. Again, for snow showers coming in from the east. Again, 2 to 5 centimetres is possible. Again, convection. And then we've got this snow and ice warning that's issued. I would say it's maybe a little bit further southwards than we're seeing in reality. I would bump this maybe 50 miles further northwards to include perhaps part of the northwest and Yorkshire and Lincolnshire perhaps, as we're seeing sort of Cardiff, Bath, and sort of towards the London area. This is seeing rain at the moment from this. I'm not seeing much snow further southwards in Oxford, but again, Birmingham, Leicester, Nottingham, Stoke, Peterborough, these are the areas where we're going to be seeing the heaviest snowfall overnight. Again, unsure with accumulations. Again, if we do have a look at it, you can see typically snow accumulations at low levels will be 2 to 4 centimetres, but some parts could see 5 to 10 centimetres falling, whereas 5 to 10 centimetres is expected over higher ground. As snow eases tonight, some clear spells may develop, and ice will be possible on untreated surfaces, and residual ice impacts could persist into morning travel period. High impact and high likelihood. Again, if we were more sure of proper settling snow, we would see an amber warning issued for this. As I said, if this was in January, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a big amber warning for this. But as I said, being in March, it's a little bit too mild for those surface temperatures. It is prohibiting those accumulations. Now, if we look to tomorrow's warning, we do have the residual snow and ice warning issued in the south. We've got still that snow and ice warning in the north of Scotland. We've got that snow and ice warning towards northeast England, and then we've got that widespread yellow snow warning that we had a look at yesterday. Hasn't been updated earlier today. It hasn't been updated since the video earlier today, but again, it's from 7 a.m. tomorrow until 2 p.m. on Friday. Again, 2 to 5 centimetres are likely in sort of the low-lying major cities. However, significant snow over hills of northern England and Northern Ireland and southern Scotland, perhaps 10 to 15 centimetres, about 100 metres and above, with 25 to 40 centimetres in some places. Again, there's the potential for strong winds, which may lead to blizzard conditions and drifting of lying snow. Ice is likely to develop widely on Friday night as this system clears away. But then we've got the amber warning that's been issued, and it's from 3 p.m. tomorrow until midday on Friday. So still snow in the morning, but it's still really heavy stuff coming in the afternoon towards the evening. As that sun does set, accumulations will be rapid. The snow is expected to develop across northern England on Thursday morning, become persistent through the afternoon and overnight into early Friday morning before slowly easing. Residual impacts from snowfall are expected to persist through Friday morning. 10 to 20 centimetres is expected to fall quite widely, with some areas seeing 30 to 40 centimetres. Strong easterly winds are expected to accompany this snow, leading to blizzards and drifting of lying snow. So big snow tomorrow. Again, we could see the amber warning impacts even further eastwards, or perhaps even further southwards into parts of the North Midlands. But the issue there is it's lower elevations. There's the potential for rain to mix in. So the rain reason this amber warning area here is this sliver and not more widespread. It's not because the precipitation won't be elsewhere, but because it could turn back to rain. So the likelihood is lower. Therefore, it is a yellow warning. So if you are in the amber warning, you are likely to see disruptive snow. But if you're not in the amber warning, you could still see that 10 to 20 centimetres. But it is very uncertain whether we'll see some rain mixing with that, keeping those totals down towards maybe 5 centimetres or so. So I definitely do think areas around this, as I said, Manchester was brought up in the paragraph earlier, for the yellow warning, that could see some big accumulations, but being low-lying and with the wind coming in, it could fall as rain at times, and of course further eastwards as well, and southwards towards Lincoln, Nottingham, Stoke-on-Trent, and maybe even southwards Birmingham and Leicester could see some big snow accumulations, but we're just very uncertain with the totals of that because of rain mixing in. And of course that continues into Friday, and you can see here a full picture of where we're going to be seeing that snow and the amber warning there. Again, it could be extended, but I don't expect we'll see that before the event occurs. It could be a nowcast situation where we see a lot more snow with that low pressure perhaps tracking slightly further southwards, which could bring in areas in the Midlands a little bit more. The warning has been altered further southwards over the past sort of 12 hours or the past 24 hours or so from a lot of the models. So we will just have to see if that does come to fruition. So if we do finish the video by just looking at the latest runs, now you can see the icon run from midday today. You can see the snow over the course this evening, stretching through most of the Midlands into northern England, and it will continue. Again, I do suspect the heaviest snow is slightly further northwards, and this icon is showing more on that Birmingham to Norwich line instead of being where Luton is. I'm not seeing as heavy precipitation there from the live radar at the moment as of 6 p.m. It looks like it's all shifted maybe 50 to 100 miles further northwards than this icon run is showing. Beyond that, the snow eventually sort of leaks away around midnight. It does pull away very quickly. Other runs, as we'll see in a minute, to keep that lingering a bit more. And then we see the heavy snow pushing in. Initially, all snow on its leading edge for Midlands, Northern England, and parts of North Wales and Northern Ireland as well. But it increasingly turns more mixed. You can see the slither of the amber warning there, all falling as snow, but just to the south towards Birmingham, out towards Nottingham area probably, towards North Wales, up towards Easter Yorkshire, more turning to rain. This is where we're seeing the heaviest precipitation here, but rain perhaps as we head towards the early hours of Friday there. And as we spread beyond that, it does all turn back to snow in its back edge into the early hours of Friday. So temporary, maybe 6 hours of rain there, but it's where that amber warning zone is. That's where we could see substantial snow building up. And again, if we do put on the snow depths for this latest icon run, you can see how earlier we had a couple centimetres in the south, but nothing too major. And you can see over the course of this evening, maybe similar 1 to 2 centimetres across the Midlands. That's what I think is realistic. Again, the Met Office stated perhaps 3 to 5 centimetres and locally 5 to 10. But from what I'm seeing on the live radar at the moment, and what I'm seeing observationally, I don't think that is particularly realistic. Again, that's what we could sin if the ground temperature were cold enough, but over the course of the evening I do think maybe 2 or 3 centimetres is the most likely. As we head through tomorrow, more heavy snow pushing in, and again where we have that amber warning, could see 10 to 20 centimetres. Looks like the icon is underdoing it perhaps slightly, as I would expect a lot more snow from this, but again widely through the North Midlands, Northern England, a few centimetres, as high as 5 to 10. But definitely icon I think is underdoing a little bit of all these snow totals from what I have seen from most other models. But interesting seeing its positioning slightly off at the moment for the snow this evening. We'll have to see how accurate it is for tomorrow's run. If it's perhaps slightly too far northwards, we could have a lot more snow widely. If it is slightly further south, if the actual low pressure system is slightly further southwards, we could have a lot more snow than we're seeing here. But if it's slightly further northwards, it could limit it really to higher ground and bring that snow risk further northwards into perhaps Scotland. Now, if we do look at the pairs run, perhaps slightly better than the icon run, you can see the snow at the moment again producing quite heavy snow towards the south of Luton there into London. I'm not seeing that on the live radar. I'm not seeing that developing at the moment. It looks like there's just showers developing in that region. Again, I suspect that the models are slightly shifted this area of precipitation southwards from where it actually is in reality. It is slightly further northwards, as we are seeing heavy precipitation towards Birmingham and the north of Birmingham at the moment from the live radar. And you can see observationally at 7 p.m. here, there's a lot more snow further northwards than this is showing. So I definitely do think it is shifted slightly further northwards in reality. Again, interesting seeing that, and that could change some of those snow totals. Eventually petering away around midnight, slowly clearing, but still a few showers drifting in off that easterly wind. Apart from that, we see that heavy snow moving in tomorrow, all snow initially in the morning, remaining sort of patchy snow, even to low-lying areas we're seeing snow again. These could be very moderate hills, but where we see that amber warning staying all as snow for consolidating as snow through Thursday evening, becoming more widespread, pretty much all or most of the yellow warning zone, even into parts of the North Midlands there, which isn't highly elevated at all, turning all back to snow and then clearing as a big snowfall event into the early hours of Friday. Again, if we do look at the snow depth for this, again, you can see the snow totals earlier, a few centimetres, and over the course of this evening, could see 5 to 10 centimetres from this. Again, the line of that 5 to 10 centimetres is the south of Birmingham, but I'm seeing the heavier precipitation maybe 50 miles further northwards of that, maybe over Birmingham or slightly to the north of Birmingham. So perhaps, again, slightly further southwards shifted, as I'm not seeing a lot of snow around that Luton area where it's showing 6 centimetres here. Not seeing that in reality at the moment. But again, could be wrong. Things could develop over the course of the evening, but just looking observationally at the live radar, it is all looking further northwards. As we head into tomorrow, look at that widely, perhaps seeing 5 to 10 centimetres developing. Again, this is not actual snow depth, this is total snow accumulations, I must say that, so we're not going to be seeing these snow totals on the ground, but this is how much snow is falling from the sky. And through Thursday evening, it really starts to accumulate and widely through the yellow warning zone into Friday afternoon. We've seen 10 to 15 centimetres, maybe even higher than that. You can see the areas to the east of Yorkshire, maybe 1 or 2 centimetres, and in that northwest pocket, low-lying, again, feeding probably off the Mersey, increasing the dew points perhaps there, meaning that we're seeing limited snow. But through most of Wales, perhaps the Midlands, North or Central Midlands, into the North Midlands, Birmingham, Nottingham, Leicester, those sort of areas, and then up in towards that slither where the amber warning is, up towards Leeds and Sheffield, perhaps widely 10 to 20 centimetres falling, maybe as high as 30 centimetres or 40 centimetres. Again, falling snow, not accumulating. We'll have to see how much does actually accumulate in reality. Now, if you look over to the Rome run, again, probably the highest resolution run we're going to be looking at this evening. I would have to look at the UKV, but it hasn't fully come out as I'm recording this, so we can't really do that. I don't want to delay this video too late. But you can see over the course of this evening, the precipitation is moving in. Slightly more extensive than the Rome is showing. That's around 7 p.m. Again, slightly further northwards. Rome's a little bit better, got that heaviest precipitation along that Birmingham line, less towards that sort of Luton, London area. So Rome is a lot more accurate. So perhaps this is the run to follow. A lot more accurate considering what we're seeing in reality. And that snow continues to push northwards over the course of this evening. And again, bullseye area probably around mid-Wales up towards Birmingham, the Midlands area, and lingers around midnight, continuing, turning lighter and patchier, but towards Birmingham and up towards North Midlands, Yorkshire, still seeing these showers feed in from that easterly wind. Again, if we had snow on the ground, if it was freezing cold, you'd expect to see maybe another couple centimetres from this, but because the ground probably doesn't have a lot of snow on it, and it's probably generally surface temperatures still above freezing, maybe just some more falling snow overnight. But eventually everything does clear away and we see that very heavy snowfall move in. Again, widely snowfall initially through the morning before it turns more toward rain towards low-lying areas. Again, that slither of the amber warning, see all snow, could see considerable snowfall there, and it all turns back to snow through Thursday evening as it eventually does clear away. Again, very touch and go. Again, we're seeing these patchy areas of snow. Again, it's going to be very, very difficult. There are going to be areas that will miss out, and there are other areas that could be a few miles away that see significant snow. We will just have to see what does develop. The only assurance we have, that slither of that amber warning zone could see huge accumulations. Again, this system could be 50 miles further southwards. If it is further southwards, then more of this will be falling as snow with more of that cold air tucked in. Again, if we do have a look at the snow depth, again, this is total snow accumulations from the start. And you can see how we're seeing maybe 5 centimetres locally over the course of this evening, and perhaps slightly more into the early hours. Beyond that, into tomorrow, significant accumulations start to build up on that amber warning zone into Friday, where you can see perhaps 25 to 30 centimetres around it. Could see widely perhaps 5 to 10 as well of snowfall falling out of the sky. But again, can't say for certain how much of that will actually settle So as I said, we'll have to see exactly what does happen over the coming hours, but at the moment it's looking very interesting. Could be quite a significant snow event in places, but could also be quite a disappointment. So I would wake up tomorrow not expecting widespread snow, but perhaps be prepared for it, as it could occur very much on the knife edge for most low-lying areas. Again, if you're above 100, 200 metres where we've had the amber warning, you will be seeing a lot of heavy snow tomorrow. Elsewhere, could see snow, could see rain, could see a bit of both, and could see some accumulating snow, it melt away and then accumulate again in the evening. We will just have to see. It's very much now a nowcast situation. But we do have an amber warning issued. If you are in that amber warning, do take action. If you're not in that amber warning zone but in the yellow warning, be prepared perhaps for significant impacts, but don't expect it just simply because it could fall as rain, or at least through the day it could fall as rain. So I said, we'll have to see what happens. Make sure you stay safe out there, and of course we'll do another update probably tomorrow morning, having a look at this and see if we do have any changes to that warning. I don't expect to see any changes, but we could see it expand given a nowcast situation. But by that point, snow is falling out of the sky, so it's not too useful. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and make sure you stay safe out there over the next few days.